Hello and welcome back to Myopia is Mental. In this video, I want to talk about a couple of comments that I saw recently. The first one, this person talked about having anxiety and getting stressed whenever taking off their glasses and seeing that blur. And I want to talk about a similar experience that I had when I was in the middle of my eyesight improvement journey. Every time I would go outside, I would take walks maybe 3 times per week, sunny days. And I would walk around my neighborhood and I would start to see perfectly clearly. I could see cars clearly. I could see license plates. I could see street signs. Everything would be super sharp. The leaves would have detail and I could see individual leaves, no blur at all. Then I would go across the street to our local grocery store. And the minute the doors opened up and I walked through the door, I could no longer see clearly. I would start to get blur or things would just be soft. So I would walk around the grocery store squinting, trying to see prices on things and signs and all of that. And it would just be a miserable experience. And then eventually I would leave the grocery store, walk back outside the doors, and a few seconds later, my eyes would be perfectly sharp. And this went on for quite a while. At first, I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm in sunlight and, the sun's brighter. You're going inside a grocery store and it's darker and, just not the same quality of light. But sometimes I would go in the grocery store and I would see better than other times. So I started to realize, okay, it's not about how bright it is in the grocery store. And the grocery store that I go to, it's not that dark inside. It's not like one of these warehouses where there's hardly any light. Then I thought, well, maybe it's because of the fluorescent lights. They vibrate at a different frequency from what the light we get from the sun. But I soon threw that out also as well. What it really came down to is mindset shift. And what I realized is that every time I went into the grocery store, I was subconsciously telling myself that something changed. And whenever that change occurred, my vision would stop working. I had to learn to reprogram my brain to understand that even though I've gone from inside to outside, nothing changes. I could still see movement. I could still see shapes. I could still see space around me. And the more I told myself this, eventually it started to click and I started to see clearly whenever I went from an outside environment to an inside environment. So the next comment that I saw dealt with something somewhat similar. It all deals with mindset shift. And this person said that they believe myopia is mental. They would work on the techniques and see improvement to their eyesight. But then all of a sudden, they just stop doing it and don't understand why. They know they're getting the improvement, but they stopped working on their eyesight. And therefore, they had to start all over again. So again, this goes back to mindset shift. When you understand what happens in your brain that causes this to happen, then you can start to address it. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about on my live webinar that I'm doing in just a few days. So if you want to learn how to improve your eyesight, be on this webinar. It's going to be 2 hours for the live webinar. And basically, I'm going to cover mindset shift and also 5 basic techniques that will help you improve your eyesight that you can use daily. And the last half hour, we're going to do a live Q&A session. Now, I do realize the webinar is $97, and that's a lot for some people. And I want this to be an experience where everybody can learn about improving their eyesight at a reasonable price. So I also have a community. If you join the community, it's $19.97 per month. You'll get access to this webinar when the replay is posted. And if you stay in the community for 5 months, that's the cost of the webinar. But in this community, it is filled with information to help you transform your eyesight. There are over 43 live Q&A calls, and they're all over an hour. We're talking about 50, 60 hours worth of content. And on these live webinars, I usually do some type of lesson or something that I've observed to help improve eyesight, as well as having the Q&A. So you'll have access to that. You'll have access to my basic journey guide, the advanced journey guide, the advanced journey guide 2.0. There's also the new ebook information is in there. You'll have invites to upcoming live Q&A sessions. I do those once per month. And like I said, you can come learn something new and also ask your questions. I'm going to start implementing office hours again. I was doing this before, but had to take a little bit of a break. But we'll be having office hours where I'll have days where I'm just sitting in my virtual office and anybody can pop in anytime if they want to talk about their eyesight. There is so much that is available for you in this community for $19.97 per month. If you stay a couple of months, great. If you want to stay longer, even better. Like I said, this will help you on your journey and keep you motivated, because not only are you going to get that information, you're going to be surrounded by people who are going through the journey as well. So if you have those times where you're like not sure or want to get motivation and encouragement from others, the community is there to help you. So I hope to see you all either on the webinar or in the community. The links are down in the description below, or you can click the link above. This is Mark from Myopia is Mental, and we'll catch you on the next one.